Hello and welcome to another video. I hope that you're all very well. Today we're going to be talking about dry steering. What is dry steering? Well, dry steering is basically turning the steering wheel while the car is stationary. So while the car is not moving. Let me give you a little demonstration of dry steering. So at the moment I've parked up on the left hand side of the road and I'm just going to turn the wheel there. So the car's not moving, but I've turned the wheel fully to the right, and now I've turned the wheel fully to the left, and now I've straightened up the wheel. So that is dry steering. The next question: is dry steering wrong? Well, about 90% of drivers in the UK think it is wrong. They will not allow their pupils to dry steer, whether it's in a driving lesson or whether it's in their driving test. When I became an instructor in 1987, I was taught that dry steering is wrong. Okay, so why is dry steering wrong? Well, it's wrong for two reasons. Or this is what I was taught in 1987. It's wrong for two reasons. The first reason is that by steering without the car moving, we are causing strain on the steering mechanism. But then in 1987, most of the cars did not have power steering, and the steering was really hard to turn. I never used to dry steer back then. If I was to dry steer back then, I'll need a lot of energy, and it wouldn't just cause strain on the steering, but it would also cause a strain on my arms. So that's one of the reasons why dry steering is wrong. However, these days, all the cars, the majority of cars, I think 99.9% of the cars currently on the road have power steering. Every single car manufactured in the last 20 years or so has power steering. So if there's some older cars, then they may not have power steering. With power steering, the steering becomes so light, it's so easy that you can turn without any effort at all. In fact, I can even turn the steering wheel using one finger. There. To the right, fully to the left, there, fully to the left, and straightened up the wheel again. No effort at all. Well, that's the first reason. The second reason that they say dry steering is wrong is because it causes uneven wear on the tires. Now, let's assume the average front wheels last 20,000 miles. With dry steering, it'll have a little reduction in life. It will last you 19,800. So you're going to lose 200 miles. Is it worth it? Some instructors think, well, I wouldn't say some, 90% of the instructors here in the UK think it's worth it and you should not dry steer. I think otherwise. Now, before I tell you why I think dry steering is not wrong, is dry steering allowed in the driving test? That's a question that many learner drivers would like to know the answer to. And the answer, yes, it is allowed in the driving test. You will not be marked down, not even a minor mistake. So no serious mistakes. You will not fail the driving test for dry steering, and you will not even get a minor fault. So I'm going to go for a short drive now, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to explain, I'm going to show you, I'm going to demonstrate why I think dry steering is perfectly acceptable. Pulling up shortly after this vehicle. Now let's assume that I've pulled up very close to this car, or let's assume there was no car when I stopped, but when I came back there's a car there right in front of me and there's a car behind me. Now I've got two choices. Choice number one, I move off and I risk hitting the car in front. Choice two, I simply dry steer. Now I'm going to dry steer because I don't want to take a risk. So I've turned a circle and the car just moves off. No hassle at all, and then simply turn back. So that's one of the reasons why I think dry steering is acceptable. It is far better to dry steer than to take a risk of hitting the vehicle in front. Now I'm just going to stop one more time. Just going to stop after this driveway. Now let's assume that I wanted to turn the vehicle around here. The space is so small. If I dry steer, I'll be able to turn the car around in 5 moves, basically a 5-point turn. So I'm going to turn the car, and I've noticed that there's a car waiting for me as well now. Now, by me doing it in 5 moves, I'm doing it in the least number of moves as possible. Now this driver's already getting irritated with me. Now you imagine if I wasn't dry steering, and I was there going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, how long do you think that driver would be prepared to wait for me? He probably wouldn't. He would do something dangerous. If that vehicle wasn't parked on the grass, he might have gone on the grass verge and gone around me. So there you have it. The 90% of driving instructors in the UK say it's wrong. The DVSA, the Driving Standards Agency, they used to say it's wrong. Back in 1987 they used to say it's wrong. At the moment they don't seem to have an opinion on it. They will not fail a learner driver in the driving test, and they will not give a minor fault in the driving test either. So whether you wish to dry steer or not, the decision is entirely yours. I hope you found this video useful, beneficial. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and do share with other drivers. Thank you very much for your time. Bye bye.